We all love a good spicy chicken sandwich, right? That fiery, flavor-packed creation excites our taste buds like no other. Welcome to Fire Eats and Treats. My name is Damon, and today we're not just talking any spicy chicken sandwich, we're recreating the OG, the pioneer, the one that started it all. Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich. Back in 1995, well before the fried chicken sandwich wars began, Wendy's boldly stepped onto the scene with this game-changing creation. It wasn't just a sandwich, it was a flavor revolution. And guess what? It became an instant hit, so much so that it earned a permanent spot on the menu the following year. This sandwich has stood the test of time, and I've been a fan from the beginning. So I'm excited to bring to you the most accurate Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich copycat recipe on the internet. Let's go.
To start, we'll need to find out how Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich gets its flavor. Our first clues come from a 2015 press release where Wendy's volunteered that the sandwich has a fiery blend of 8 spices and peppers. They also shared that the sandwich gets its kick from a special mix of black pepper, chili pepper, and mustard seed. Combining this information with Wendy's website ingredient list, we can confirm the presence of 4 key spices: celery, mustard, paprika, and turmeric, plus 2 types of peppers, black pepper and chili pepper. The chili pepper category leaves a lot of room for speculation. So after watching some old commercials for secrets hidden in plain sight, and with a lot of trial and error, I settled on a blend of crushed red pepper flakes, cayenne pepper, hot paprika, habanero powder, and red chili powder. Make sure to use red chili powder and not regular chili powder, which has additional ingredients and won't give you that bright red color. Now, based on the commercials, crushed red pepper flakes contribute significantly to the flavor, but a close examination of the spicy chicken fillet reveals no evidence of seeds. So in order to make your spicy chicken chili pepper blend, first grind up your red pepper flakes using a food processor. Then after sifting to remove the seeds, grind them up further using a mortar and pestle. This will allow us to get a better flavor, smoother texture, and a more even heat distribution. Once you have prepared the red pepper flakes, make the chili pepper blend by combining equal parts red chili powder, cayenne pepper, hot paprika, habanero powder, and ground red pepper flakes. Now give it a mix until well incorporated and your chili pepper blend is done. You'll need to set aside 1 teaspoon for later, but after combining the spices and peppers confirmed by Wendy's official sources, there was still something missing. So I decided to take another look at the ingredients list and noticed the term natural flavor. Then I remembered Wendy's did a collaboration with Pringles to create Wendy's spicy chicken flavored chips. These chips were fire, and after checking out their ingredients, I noticed another clue: onion powder. Onion powder and garlic powder both qualify as natural flavoring under FDA guidelines. So with these 2 new additions, here are my 8 spices for Wendy's spicy chicken seasoning: coarse ground black pepper, our chili pepper blend, mustard powder, celery seed, paprika, turmeric, onion powder, and garlic powder. Add 2 tablespoons of coarse kosher salt to finish off the seasoning, then give it a mix. And as always, you can find ingredients and exact amounts in the video description. This spice blend will form the basis of the sandwich's heat and flavor. But to take it to the next level, we'll create a homemade version of capsicum extract to add spice and flavor to our marinade. To make homemade capsicum extract or a simple chili oil, place 2 cups of crushed red pepper flakes in a heat-proof container like a glass jar. It's important to use a heat-proof container so that you can safely handle the high temperatures involved. Next, heat 2 cups of a neutral oil, such as canola oil, in a saucepan until it's hot but not smoking. Anywhere around 300 degrees Fahrenheit will be just fine. After that, carefully pour the hot oil over the red pepper flakes until they are completely submerged. Pour slowly and steadily to avoid any splatter, and for extra safety and an easier cleanup, you can place a sheet pan underneath to catch any spills. If a spill does occur, the sheet pan can protect your countertop and reduce the risk of burns or damage from the hot oil. Now let the mixture cool to room temperature, giving it a stir every so often, then cover the container and let it sit for several days to infuse. The oil can be used immediately after it comes to room temperature, but for a more intense flavor, it's best to let the mixture infuse for about a week. This gives the oil time to soak up the spice and flavors from the pepper flakes. Remember to gently shake or stir every day or 2 to help the process. After several days have passed, strain the oil through a fine mesh sieve or cheesecloth to remove the red pepper flakes. Again, pour with a slow, steady motion, then agitate the pepper flakes with a spoon and give it a good squeeze to get all that oil. And your homemade capsicum extract is done. Once strained, transfer the oil to a new container for later use, and store any unused oil in a dark, cool, dry place. Now that our seasoning and chili oil are ready, let's make the spicy chicken marinade. Fortunately, Wendy's lists the marinade ingredients separate from the breading, which takes out a lot of the guesswork. So to create the marinade, start with 1/4 cup of chili oil. Then gradually sprinkle in 1/8 teaspoon of xanthan gum while continuously stirring to prevent clumps from forming. Stir until the xanthan gum is fully dissolved, then set the mixture aside. Next, prepare a potato starch slurry by adding 1 teaspoon of potato starch to 1/4 cup of water. As before, add the potato starch gradually while stirring continuously to avoid clumping. And once the potato starch is fully dissolved, set this mixture aside. Since oil and water don't naturally mix, the xanthan gum acts as an emulsifier to stabilize our marinade, while the potato starch helps to give it a nice consistency. Now, in a food processor, combine 3 tablespoons of our spicy chicken seasoning with a 1/2 teaspoon of citric acid. Add the potato starch slurry and the chili oil mixture, then blend everything together until well combined and your chicken marinade is ready. It's time to prep the chicken. Wendy's lists their spicy chicken fillet at 3.5 ounces, but I found the breaded fillets can range anywhere from slightly below 3 ounces to sometimes well above 4 ounces. Since the breading can add up to an ounce to the final weight, we'll aim for a pre-breaded weight of around 3 ounces for each cutlet. Boneless, skinless chicken breasts from the grocery store usually weigh between 10 and 14 ounces. So depending on the size you start with, you'll get at least 3 cutlets from 1 breast. Start by trimming the chicken breast to remove any excess fat. Then slice off the tenderloin, which is the small strip of meat separated by the membrane. We won't need this piece for the sandwich, but you can use it later to make a spicy chicken tender. Now cut off the narrow end of the breast about halfway up. Next, take the thick half and hold it flat near the edge of your cutting board. And starting from the top, cut horizontally with a clean, even stroke. Pull the knife through the chicken, then open it up and make 1 or 2 more strokes to completely split it. After that, slice the edges of a plastic bag and place the chicken in between, or cover each piece with plastic wrap. Then gently pound the cutlets with a meat mallet until they are thin and even. Use firm but gentle pressure because if you pound too hard, the chicken will shred. If you don't have a meat mallet, you can use something heavy like the bottom of a cast iron skillet. When finished, your chicken cutlets should be an even 1/4 inch thick. Now place the chicken in a small glass bowl, then add your marinade and give it a mix. I like to use a small bowl because it requires less marinade to completely submerge the chicken. Because of the acidic nature of marinades, it's best to marinate in a glass, ceramic, or stainless steel container. Once the marinade is well incorporated, cover and refrigerate for 2 hours so that the chicken can absorb all those flavors. And I guarantee it's gonna be fire. While the chicken marinates, let's make our breading. Wendy's spicy chicken breading is packed with flavor and uses a mix of flours and spices to create a crispy, well-seasoned coating. It features wheat flour, lentil flour, and yellow corn flour, all of which contribute to its unique flavor and texture. And unlike some chicken sandwiches, the spice is in the crust, not the condiments. We'll start by creating our dry flour mixture. In a medium-sized dish, combine 6 tablespoons of wheat flour, 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of lentil flour, 2 tablespoons of wheat gluten, 2 tablespoons of our spicy chicken seasoning, 1 tablespoon of yellow corn flour, and 1/4 teaspoon each of baking powder and chicken powder. Now whisk thoroughly, ensuring all the ingredients are well combined and your dry flour mixture is complete. Wendy's spicy chicken breading also includes maltodextrin, which is a thickener used in many foods. However, in my research, I found that it can cause spikes in glucose levels, inflammation, and other adverse health effects. For this recipe, I experimented with and without maltodextrin and decided to replace it with an egg wash. So once your chicken is finished marinating, add 1 cup of water to a medium-sized dish, then use that water to rinse some of the marinade off the chicken. The marinade doesn't need to be completely removed from the chicken. A gentle rinse will do. Now transfer the chicken to a dish lined with paper towels, and using paper towels, pat the chicken dry. Don't pat them completely dry, but just enough to soak up the extra moisture. Then sprinkle to taste both sides with the chili pepper blend that we set aside earlier. Now lightly dust each piece in the dry flour mixture and place them gently on a cooling rack. Since this is just the initial stages of our breading, a light dusting will do. Next, we'll need to let the chicken rest for 30 minutes in the freezer. This will allow the starches to hydrate, which helps the flour stick better to the chicken. While we're waiting on our chicken, add the remaining marinade to the dish of water we used to rinse the chicken. Then add the whites of 2 eggs and whisk thoroughly until everything is well incorporated. Store this mixture in the refrigerator while the chicken rests in the freezer. And once the chicken is ready, drizzle 1 tablespoon of the egg wash into the flour mixture and mix it with a fork to create crispy bits. Be sure to mix well to prevent the batter from becoming too clumpy. Now dredge the chicken by dipping each piece into the egg wash, lifting a few times to allow any excess egg wash to drip off, then covering thoroughly in the flour mixture. Make sure to turn the chicken over and press the meat into the flour for a heavier, more even crust. Shake off any excess flour and let the chicken rest on a cooling rack at room temperature for another 30 minutes before frying. I know this is a lot of resting, but we don't want the chicken to be too cold when it hits the fryer. And once the chicken is rested, it's time to fry. According to employees, Wendy's pressure fries the spicy fillets in a canola oil blend. The frozen chicken cooks for 6 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're not using a pressure fryer or cooking from a frozen state, so our cook times will be a bit shorter. Start by filling a deep fryer with a blend of canola and soybean oil, then heat the oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. When the oil is ready and just before frying, give each piece of chicken one more dip in the egg wash. If you're using a frying basket, make sure it's in the oil before adding the chicken so it doesn't stick to the basket. Now add the chicken to the oil and give the basket a few shakes. Fry the chicken for 2 to 4 minutes or until the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Once cooked, let the chicken sit in the basket or rest on the cooling rack to let the excess oil drip off. And for a more authentic taste, keep it warm in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. And now you're ready to build the sandwich. Wendy's spicy chicken filet is cooled down with lettuce, tomato, and Heinz mayo. The stack order is very important, so we'll start with these brioche buns you could find at any Aldi. These are very similar to the premium buns that Wendy's uses. Lightly toast both halves of the bun with butter, then add a good amount of mayo to the top half of the bun.
All right, so check it out. Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich calls for Heinz mayonnaise. And I tell you what, I searched high and low and I could not find where to buy Heinz mayonnaise. But I did at my local Walmart in the deli section see that they were giving these away for free. So I grabbed a couple of these bad boys right here. If you know where you could buy these, please let us know in the comments below. We're ready to finish building this sandwich, so let's go.
To finish building the sandwich, add 1 tomato slice to the top half of the bun, then add 2 pieces of fresh romaine lettuce. Now place the spicy filet on the bottom half of the bun, put the top half on top, and there you have it, your homemade Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich.
You might be thinking that it's easier and cheaper to just go buy a Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich, and you're probably right. But as I was putting this recipe together, I realized that there were some ingredients like maltodextrin that just weren't necessary. In fact, most of the chemicals that are used in fast foods are there to extend the food's shelf life and to restore the flavor that's lost when your food isn't fresh. So if you make it fresh, those additives and preservatives just aren't needed. I also discovered that in 2017, Wendy's reduced the size of the spicy chicken filet by about 20%. So if you remember the original spicy chicken sandwich being bigger, you're right, it was. So if you make it fresh, not only can you reduce the number of questionable ingredients, you can also make the chicken breast larger and more like it used to be back in the day. Finally, here's a quick tip. When mixing or grinding peppers, use a mask or something to cover your nose and maybe even shield your eyes. Pepper dust in the nose is no fun, trust me. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, to comment, and subscribe. Then go check out one of these videos right over here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.